Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Talking about the assignment question, starting with what is affinal kinship. Now, when you talk about the affinal kinship, it is something which has to do and which is to do with the concept of marriage. The kind of a relationship, the kind of kinship based on affinity, which is the marriage, is known as affinal kinship. However, something which is based on the relationships or the kinship is based on the common blood relationships come and as the contemporaneous relationship. Now, which type of kins is related to marriage? It is the affinal kins which are related to marriage. What is incest taboo? So the social control of sexual impulses is known as the incest taboo. With whom are you able to make the sexual relationships is known as the incest taboo. When you talk about the secondary kins are the primary kins. They are the primary kins of our first degree kins. If I want to make it easy for you to understand, if I want to make it easy for you to understand, it is of 33 types, which is your father's father, mother's father, all those aspects of your paternal relationships, birth-hand relationship is known as the secondary kins. Now they say how many types of tertiary kins as egos can we have? We have 151 of those. What does it mean by the aviculate? It means when there's a kind of behavior which gives the maternal uncle the importance over the father and maternal uncle an important status over the father in the life of the sister's children, and the property is being transferred to them is known as this. Moving on to the next question of what is Kuwait. It is a kinship relationship or a kinship behavior where the husband imitates the wife when they imitate the behavior of the wife during the time of her pregnancy. The whole concept of going on sick diets, the whole concept of following certain rituals and taboos and refraining from active life comes under this. Moving to the aspect of what is technonymy, which means when two kinsmen do not address each other with their direct relationships in terms of, when the wife is addressing the husband, taking the relationship, taking the names of their children is known as the technonymy. What is the classificatory term in kinship's terminology? When you talk about the kinship terminology, the classification of the kinship terminology depends on two aspects majorly. It is actually talking about the aspects of understanding of the interrelationships within or between the various family members. It gives a clue on what is actually the relationship. Now, when you talk about the derivative terms, the kinship terms, it is the usage of coining of the terms, joining the suffixes or the prefixes on the objectives of the elementary relationships. For example, if you take it is the grandfather, it is the sister-in-law, the brother-in-law, etc. Moving to the short answer questions wherein they talk about what is kinship. What is kinship is something that we have already discussed. What are the two types of kinship? The affinal kinship and the consanguineous kinship is what we will be discussing about. That is also something that we have right now discussed. Two types of kinships, again referring here, differentiate between two types of kinship, again something that we have discussed. Differentiate avoidance with joking relationships, avoidance is something which is actually giving you the liberty, or avoidance is something which is actually making you avoid or putting some kind of a restrictions over you for interacting with the close knit or close interaction of the certain kinships. For example, the daughter-in-law and the father-in-law relationships, wherein the direct relationship interaction is avoided. Joking relationships, wherein the joking part or wherein the fun part in certain relationships are taken as a positive or taken in the positive spirit. For example, the husband and the wife's sister and the wife and the husband's brother are known as the joking relationships. Differentiate between avunculate and imitate. Avunculate is a kind of behavior which gives the maternal uncle a place. This is something again that we have discussed. Maternal uncle a very a top place even as compared to the father. Whereas an imitate is when the paternal uncle or paternal aunt, or for that matter the father's sister, is given that position above the mother, that is known as the imitate. And herein it is the patrilineal setup, whereas herein it is the matrilineal setup. Matrilineal setup, wherein here it is the patrilineal setup that are being followed. Talking about the three types of kinship classified on the basis of linguistics. These types of kinships were elementary, then there were derivative, and then there were the descriptive terms, and that were the type of relationships there. Coming to the essay type questions, what is kinship? Explain various type of kinship usages. Herein you will talk about avoidance, you may talk about the joking relationship, or you may talk about the technonymy, or you may talk about the avunculate, you may talk about the imitate, and etc. Define kinship. Explain any three types of usages. You may define any three of these types. Write a note on various kinship usages found in the human society. You will have to write on the note of all of these, explanation of all of these usages. For the various bases of classification, one was on the terms of the language, the linguistic culture. The other was the mode of use of the language, and hence the third was the range of application here, and that is what has to be explained in the answer. I hope all of this has actually made you understand the concept of kinship, the concept of families, the concept of relationships, the social relationships of the families in form of the kinship, a better way, in an explanatory way, and you all have been able to answer the questions perfectly well. And I hope you understood the whole concept behind the usages of the kinship, the differentiation of the kinships, the kind of classifications of the term kinship, the explanation, the whole meaning and the definition of the term kinship, and that is how we have gone about understanding one of the major social institutions, that is kinship.